It was a fatal time
to be born killers
in 1991.
All that and more.
Cody, pistol whip Mike Tyson. Ah!
How's that Mike Tyson Punch-Out game going for you? Is it making a lot of money?
I don't know.
Just like Nintendo does? Because the government controls Nintendo.
That's right. The government controls everything video game related.
Just like the Illuminati.
Illuminati confirmed.
Boo, 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 boo.
360 no scope.
Oh, a baby, a twipple.
360 no scope. Illuminati confirmed.
Mountain Dew.
Doritos.
Milady.
Hi. Welcome to episode 34 of the Super Meaty Brothers podcast. I am Midnight Agent Raw.
Has it really been 34 episodes?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Okami.
We are back with the fourth installment of the Cult Cinema Showdown series.
4. It only felt like yesterday we were doing the first one.
This is true. These have been really fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially this one. This one's been interesting.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason it's interesting is the reason we paired these together. Both of these movies are really like visually trippy. I mean, that's not like the main reason. I mean, it kind of is like the main reason, but man, these movies are both like a mind fuck in a sense.
I'm trying to think of a good wordage for that. It's like cinematography wise, it's just like cinema fuck, you know?
But in the best fucking way possible.
Exactly.
And if you haven't been following our social media accounts, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You haven't liked any of our stupid shit.
That's right. And then you wouldn't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
At all.
That's right. So, the two films pitted together on this episode are Damon Packard's Fatal Pulse, a.k.a. Night Pulse, a.k.a. Untitled Yuppie Fear Thriller,
versus Natural Born Killers.
Fucking A. We just watched these films.
Literally just got out of our cushiony comfort couch and chair combination in front of the TV after our 4-hour binge of these two movies.
Yeah, because both of these movies are like right at 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, and again, I didn't take anything, but fuck, I felt like I was on mushrooms.
Close enough.
I mean, really, just about as close as it can get to doing it.
So why don't we start with the first one we watched?
Yes. Okay. So the first movie we watched was Fatal Pulse by director Damon Packard. Damon Packard, and I'll go ahead and just say this like right off the bat. The dude is, he's got a really good eye for just delivery altogether. I think he's a very underrated filmmaker.
Also, colors.
Can we please talk about that?
Like, basically the first 5 minutes of the film was Trent just watching TV, like all this, you know, common 1990s or late 1980s film or, you know, commercials, whatever. And he keeps getting a phone call from some random person about doing the job, basically. But the entire time, he's drinking some kind of martini concoction, whatever. And it's just nothing but like these cotton candy looking neon colors like splashed onto him. There's this like smoke essence coming from around him, almost like he's in a vape bar. And it's just, you don't really pay attention to what's going on concept wise. It's just you're so like thrown away by the color scheme. Like it's just so drastically bright, basically.
Yeah. And a big reason for that. This movie is actually set in 1991, and when we mean 1991, we mean like a literal like the 1-900 number era of 1991. The time
when Chia
was a thing,
or the coming to a theater near you, rated R. You know, those kind of
like real quick, like 15-20 second TV
film
spots.
previews.
Yeah. The ones that made you want to fucking go to the theater.
Also, that was a big thing about this movie, was a lot of like product placement from that era, nostalgia left and right. Not just for those, but it was the McDonald's ad in one scene. I remember that one.
Yeah, and there was I want to say there was like a Coca-Cola ad. And it was funny. The very first time I watched this, I recognized like a lot of the ads, but the one that caught my eye was the when Freddy Krueger did the 1-900 number for when Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare had come out, or I think like a little bit before it. I lost my shit. I was like, holy fuck! And the attention to detail in which, you know, events happened in 1991 was great. The main character Trent is obviously. You find out, I mean, he's obviously a politician of some sort, but you find out later on that he's actually a part of the Illuminati with a few other people. And this film really centers around the Illuminati and the government controlling the entertainment industry as a whole, like music, film, all that. And it, you know, pretty much to brainwash and control like the minds of the viewing, you know, audience, and
to make a lot of money in the process.
A lot of fucking money.
Because it even dropped a couple of names like Whitney Houston and Janet Jackson and Sade, and that only had shown, quote, 2 of them in person, which they weren't. It was just actresses portraying them, but still, it's like these were certain names in that era that were actually pretty well relevant at that point, that they were controlling to, you know, milk, basically.
Yeah, and as we go through the film, we'll give other celebrities that were in there as well, obviously portrayed by actors and actresses. But I liked it. You know, it was because it was really random. Like the ones that did appear, it was very random.
Right.
So, again, Trent and his wife. His brother-in-law has been living on their fucking sofa for the better part of 4 years, and the guy legit spends all his time watching like 1-900 commercials late at night on television, and he kind of a creeper, fucking commits murder and, you know, all sorts of shit like that. In fact, I think we first get introduced to him and he's just like duct taping and wrapping this dead girl in tinfoil, and the whole time Trent is laying in bed with his wife, which he never takes his fucking suit off, and he's always working. Like you see that he does not sleep. He's always working, doing something. And he's like, I can't even go to my fucking kitchen to get a drink
because he's there.
He's always there, and he's like, you think he's rummaging through the fridge? Because you can hear all the tinfoil like tussling around, and he's just maniacally like fucking taping this body up in tinfoil.
And there was one part where he went to the kitchen. No, it was the wife went to the kitchen, and he was just like, do you think Vanilla Ice is his real name? Like, that's the kind of stuff he started asking in the beginning, like just random shit while he's in the kitchen trying to rummage through food.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't make any sense.
No. And we're gonna like just go ahead and say off the bat that if you do check this movie out, give it like a couple of watches, because it actually, you know, I got a little bit of the gist of what was happening during the first watch of it, but to really appreciate it and catch a lot of the say like Easter eggs for, you know, pop culture, you know, fiends out there, really, you know, watch it the first time through to, you know, just get a feel for the movie itself, then go back, watch it again, or even a third time, and really dig into the deep cuts of the 90s that Damon had put in this film. I love this movie. There was a subplot in here. I'm trying to give decent plot points away because I don't really want to spoil this movie in particular too much, because I feel like this is definitely a film you have to discover on your own. and we are here to tell you that it is worth a watch. It is worth, opening your mind up to and viewing. So, there's a subplot involving a glass brick portal in which the Illuminati and the government are, I'm not sure if they were aware or unaware of, but it was pretty much part of the plan to, I want to say, to freeze time in a specific era so they could continue to make money, because I think what was coming across at that point was, hey, it's not going to get any better than this. We're trying to control everything.
Basically, kind of like a Groundhog's Day scenario, where it's the same scenario going over and over again because they don't want it to end, because this is like the prime of that era, basically.
Yeah. And really, the main character, Trent, he's really like no, bullshit, like a fucking douchebag, like a real fucking uppity ass yuppie fucking douchebag. And he looks like he's based on like, who did I say? James Spader?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's based on James Spader. And he's somehow involved with the film industry. He also controls the government and pretty much everything. He's and you see all these random, like we were talking about, these random celebrities, like what was her name? The old host of USA Up All Night, Shear. Was it Rachel Shear?
Veronica Shear?
Nah, I think it had to be Rachel Shear. I feel dumb because I grew up watching that shit. But like you see her.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I forgot her name, but yeah.
Yeah, and one funny scene in particular, like speaking of him being involved in the film industry, their brother, whose name is Tobo, winds up stalking fucking Julia Roberts.
Because apparently she got into a domestic abuse situation and now was crashing at Trent's house for going on 4 months at this point.
Because she was sleeping with the enemy.
Right. Dun dun. So he literally, at the very beginning of that whole scenario, he walked up to the pair and was like, "Am I still living here?" Like, literally just had to ask that question amongst all the shit that was going down.
I mean, he's been confident. It's funny because then Trent goes from complaining about Tobo living on the sofa for this long, and then he's like, Julia fucking Roberts, And it was hilarious because even people that would come into the house, is that Julia Roberts?
Mm-hmm.
She was
so hot.
Yeah, she was in Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, and just a lot of the shit in this movie. I mean, the dialogue. I love the editing in this movie too. There were some things where certain lines were said and subtitles would pop up and just kind of emphasize these key lines that, from what I took away, these are the key lines. Is like, oh, this must mean something.
Has to have some kind of weight, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, Rhonda Shear. Did I say Rhonda earlier?
No.
Okay, it's Rhonda Shear.
We said Rachel, and I said Veronica, and you're like, nope.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. But like a lot of the celebrities and politicians that are in this, is that there's a scene with Dick Cheney. There's they mention or there's Janet Jackson like earlier. William Friedkin, who did he wrote the he said he like wrote The Exorcist or some shit.
No, he did a movie called The.
No, I know it was another movie,
but there was The Exorcist above his name, above his.
That's right.
And he was complaining. This was towards the end of the film, actually, because he was complaining to Trent, like, "You told me I was going to make all this money with my film on opening day, and there's not a seat filled." And he was just, like, bitching about the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'll get into that portion of it, because that was actually kind of funny whenever the transition with Trent's character happened.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about... There's a scene where Sade is doing a rehearsal, I think, or like a music video rehearsal or some shit, and she just like in the whole time you see these people that are watching her, and the one dude that was talking about the chick standing next to him was like, "Is that your wife?" "No, it's my girlfriend." And he kept getting her fucking name wrong, obviously coked up because he's like snorting a shit ton of it.
He's like, "Yeah, that's my wife right there, Sade." And I was like, "What about her right there?" "Oh, that's just my assistant."
Yeah. and then like fucking
Like every 30 seconds, you just see him pan to him, just literally.
we're not joking.
No,
We're not joking.
dude had like a freaking inhaler of like cocaine. He just sprayed in his face and just, but yeah, about a good couple minutes into it, Sade faints in the middle of performance. And everybody's freaking out. It's like, what, is she okay? And then the guy's like,
oh, she faints all the time.
She faints all the time. Oh, honey, we'll be there in 15 minutes to come check on you. Like,
just lay there and be comfortable. And she's on the fucking ground.
So while that's going on, he goes down to meet her, sprays the shit in her face to make her wake up. It's like, oh, you're fine.
I just love the line where he's like, they're like, is she okay? Oh, she faints all the time. It's some sort of... It's drugs.
Yeah, it's drugs.
He's straight up just, it's drugs. But they decide to wake her up and fucking introduce her to Rush. No, we're not kidding. Like Geddy Lee, Alex Lifes, and Neil Peart, Rush. And I love the cultural references, because this was 1991 was the year that the Roll the Bones album came out, and they were playing, songs from it, and you see Trent and one of the producers like standing there, and he's like, "This is Rush." Like, yeah. It's like, but they rap now. It was like,
So when did they start rapping?
And I really enjoyed a lot of the digs into, those things. And then it was funny because they started talking about how the reason it's funny is because we know now, what these characters in this world didn't know then. About how, hip hop will fucking be around forever and all. We're gonna be stuck with it, and all this other shit. And then all the one hit wonder things they talked about. Oh, this is gonna be the biggest, hit. Like fucking Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice was like one of their biggest draws as far as like numbing everybody's minds. Everybody was so enthralled by that fucking song in one sequence of the film.
Yeah, there was a good 5-minute sequence of just everybody dancing to Ice Ice Baby throughout the entire street. So it's just okay. They make this song more important than it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, and then like Rhonda Shear on the fucking couch. That was originally a song by Queen, right? No shit. Oh yeah, sampling.
Sampling. No, right? Yeah. Sampling. Can I throw out my theory about Tobo?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think Tobo was a person. I think Tobo was like a part of people's obsessions, basically. Because if you think about it, they had Tobo on the couch watching, infomercials and whatnot, just literally doing nothing but that. And then Homeboy he was so obsessed with like the idea of like working and doing only that, and then wanting to kill him and get him off his house or whatever. And then the scene where he's in the streets like catcalling his girl, like trying to come get her, and she just didn't want anything to do with him. So whenever the boyfriend, the bodyguard basically, decided to come, he was just so obsessed with killing this guy because he wouldn't leave her alone. So they literally found him, ran him down an alleyway, rolled over him, and he never died.
They rolled over him several fucking times.
Like 6 or 7 times. And the guy literally just looked up and was like, oh, okay, got up, backed over him again, went over him again. It was just like, I think he's just a concept of human nature that's like constantly obsessed with some kind of factorial in their life that they can't get over it.
I would agree there. Like, it sounds plausible enough. You know what I mean? There was you said something during that reminded me of another scene in this movie. Fuck.
I'm sure it'll come to you.
Oh, I know it will, because there's really a lot to process with this movie. But yeah, as far as him being a figment, I think at one point you actually did say a figment of their imagination. So Trent is obsessed, like you said, with the consumerism portion of it. And it's funny because this movie itself, I think, is kind of a satire, not say satire, but kind of is satire and a little bit of a commentary on capitalism and consumerism.
social norms.
Yeah, it really is. And, it does it very well. Because you see a lot of, like whenever they went to the Janet Jackson compound. And can we just talk about how fucking cool that shot was whenever you first get introduced to that?
My favorite scene, like, not sequence, but just that cinematography right there was so beautiful because it felt like a really, really retro bowling alley, but it was extremely lit. But you can still tell the details in it. But it was like a good, I want to say like third from the top of the screen was like mirrored.
Yep.
To where you saw that part up, and it was an odd choice, but it was such a beautifully done like part of film right there.
Yeah, and it was lit as fuck.
Very.
In that compound sequence, Trent's talking to this guy that is with Janet, and they start talking about like the No Fear, like the brand No Fear,
Which pops up in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, like the logo just is like boop, and you're just like,
There is nothing to fear, but no fear
itself. Fuck yes. And then when Trent started talking, and that's another thing I want to get into, like some of the shit like that, because when Trent started talking to that one politician, talking about how the guy stole his war on drugs idea, and then the fucking Dare program logo pops right, just full fucking force on the whole screen.
Mm-hmm.
I legit fucking relived my childhood watching a lot of this fucking shit. Like, we're 30 fucking 2 years old.
that tells you how old we are.
Yeah, I mean, to some of you, younger listeners out there, yeah, that tells you how fucking old we are, which we're not really that old. Like, we're still considered young people, but,
we feel old.
Yeah, we really fucking feel old. But I enjoyed the shit out of seeing all that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a sequence where everything kind of comes to a head, and let's just say a shit ton of fuck happens with a lot of the main key people in here. And all of a sudden, Trent becomes a fucking puppet.
A very, like, trash puppet almost. Like, it was just so grungy looking. But
it looked like Oscar the Grouch went to a fucking tanning salon and got orange.
No, he looked like a used condom turned into a puppet.
That's probably a way better fucking description.
Like, no joke.
Like,
but
actually used.
But the
glow-in-the-dark orange.
Yeah. So the sequence that led up to was Billy Friedkin. Friedkin, yeah. He was talking to Trent about, his movie being this next big thing, but he was also having this big hash out with how cinematography's done and how the movie theater industry is going to shit and how blah, 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 whatever. Well, they started hashing about, a singleplex versus a multiplex, and then Trent was like, no, you don't understand. Like, all these things that you're talking about are ancient. This is the time for progression, and in the future, we're making money. And Friedkin's like, no, it's not about the money. It's about the art. It's about the style. It's about your passion, and you shouldn't be worrying about this shit. And it literally, they're debating about it. I wouldn't say, like, fighting over it per se.
Of course.
But everybody around the table was literally just like, what do we do?
They felt uncomfortable as shit.
Like, one girl would say something and nobody cared what the fuck she said.
Oh, hell no.
So, in the background of the house, while Tobo was on his ass again, there was like a group of like 6 or 7 random people coming around the house with freaking, ammunition and guns and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They stormed that house, and Tobo was just sitting there looking at him like, oh, okay, this is normal.
Yeah, this is fine.
Which, again, leads to my theory about what he is. I'm not saying he's a who, but they get into the dining room, present arms, and literally just guns blaze, like right there, gun, point blank.
Yeah.
With Tobo every shot now and then sitting in the corner of the room, and then showing him back in the TV room. So, like I said, with him particularly, he represents some kind of like greed or obsession with something to where it's like unhealthy or deadly, basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, goes back to, with the murder and stuff. When Trent wakes up, he's this puppet, and he's on the street somewhere, and literally there's just like a bunch of, nonsense being spoken about. New Jack City being the new best thing.
It's the New Jack City Panthers.
Yeah.
And the film New Jack City it was on the fucking billboard.
Mm-hmm. So, gang member, well, I'll call them gang members. Just some random street people.
Party.
Yeah. They are, chanting, busting shit up, and Trent's like, what are they talking about? And he's like, wait, what the hell am I? And he looks in the reflection, and he sees himself this puppet, and he freaks the fuck out. I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, and what it boils down to is, like, during this sequence, you learn that by certain people being eliminated, that the control has been lost. And I'm not ending this here, but I'm just saying, like, I'm making a point. I think the quote-unquote fear thriller, like the yuppie fear thriller, I would venture to say that that's what they fear, is the loss of control.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of happens. People are free to think for themselves now and not feel like, oh, my decision's being swayed for me. I love that one guy that just would randomly, like, it was just a shot of that one dude walking, and he just fucking shit talks everything.
America Tale, 5 Goes West. I don't want to watch that fucking shit.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that movie. Then he fucking, but Tower Records, but fuck Tower Records, like talking about all this fucking, and then oh god, what was the one? Oh yeah, and he's just like fuck this, fuck that, yeah, and fuck you too. No, not you, not, and it just like cuts to another guy. He's like, no, not you. I'm talking about the band U2. Fuck Octum Baby.
Mm-hmm. Like they would like product placement and reference so much shit in this movie. Like it was interesting yet beautiful.
Yeah, and again, like, I would love to sit and just give a full-blown, like, fucking detailed everything about this, but my God, like, it doesn't do any justice to fucking sit here and give everything away and run through this film from front to back, simply because, once again, this is a movie you have to really, like, sit down and take in, like, and do it when you're not busy, like, straight up, do this when, like, your attention will be completely, like, undivided towards this movie. This meal. I'm hungry. Not really. I'm fat.
I have to say, like, the cinematography alone, like, drew so much attention for me. More of not the colors per se, because that was obviously a given, but like you said earlier, the angles of the shots, the editing of the shots, and then the progression of the filming. Like they had sequences where they would have like the kind of the GoPro where they're running in front of them and they were like showing the intensity, but then they would speed up real fast, and then kind of, there was one point where Trent was running from everything going to shit, and he would go from the angle and the sideways, and he would slow down to a stop and just freeze there, and then he would look and then catch back up, and then it'd be like just weird little like snippets of really interesting cinematography choices that made it actually fit in because of just how unorthodox, how chaotic that this film can turn all of a sudden, especially with like the control of power just shifted basically.
Yeah, and the film editing itself was done by Damon.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that too. Like just there are some quick shots that happen. Just everything about it was really well done, and this movie itself is just like an untapped gold mine, in my opinion. It's really good. But we talked about this like in the beginning of this conversation and on through the color choice. It's I think there's maybe only 2 sequences that are shot during the day. Everything else takes place at night. It's washed in like deep reds, purples, blues, pinks, neonish kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you, and even the tonal quality and grain of the footage, really makes it feel like you're in 1991.
Yeah, because it's a film made in 2018, but it's decades behind us with the actual like ancientness of the film, the cinematography, and it's really well done with that.
Yeah, I mean, it came out this year. Believe it or not, though, this film was like 4 years in the making, and you could tell it was a passion project. You could tell it was something that he put a lot of thought into, a lot of work. It shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to like think of other. Can we talk about one of our both of our favorite things that happened in this? There's a sequence where they're in a club where Orbital is playing, and we get introduced to Snowstar, who is the guest DJ cat.
Oh, of course. What's the cat for? And literally, they're just holding the cat up by his arms, like you would when you make him dance, and he's just sitting there.
It is the cutest fucking cat ever.
Like a whitish orange tabby almost.
I want to pet that cat. I want to take the cat home. I want to feed it. I want to scratch its belly, and I want to
go to Coachella.
Fuck yeah! I want to see that little motherfucker spin some records.
Mm-hmm.
Spin some records.
Right, meow.
Do you think he's gonna cat scratch those records?
He's gonna cat scratch them.
That's right. Do you think instead of the needle, he just puts a claw on the fucking vinyl?
Mm-hmm.
Right, meow.
It's gonna be perfect.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's right.
You got to be kidding me.
It's a catastrophe.
That's right. A monster catastrophe. Maybe that is Monster Cat.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s when, well before.
Before he was tainted by the EDM scene.
That's right.
Not saying it was a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
This one was probably early 90s techno.
Techno, rave, underground.
That's right. But fucking A. And then, I wrote down some songs or some artists that had their songs used. Obviously Orbital was one, Vanilla Ice, a Rush, but Public Enemy. I don't, and this isn't a shot at him at all, but I think Damon didn't really give a flying fuck at this point about any kind of licensing.
Royalties.
Yeah, because, if you want to talk about unapologetic, unabashed filmmaking, this is for you. There are movie clips from, anything you could probably think of. There were movie clips, there were songs, all kind of shit, dude.
60 Minutes was referenced in the beginning, and then it had a bunch of films about yuppies the entire time.
With their fanny packs.
Mm-hmm.
Because fanny packs were a thing.
I have to say, that was probably the only part of the movie I was just so annoyed with, was how the narrator on the 60 seconds clip was just talking about war. The same concept within, 30 seconds apart. It was just while they're worried about their fanny packs, I'm worried about carrying my brothers and, my fanny packs, but they call them body bags and blah, 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 blah. And he literally talked about that, consistently enough to where it became annoying.
I was gonna say it came across as kind of pseudo propaganda,
right?
In a way,
and I get what he was doing to what all that was, but it was just to me how my mind is. If you do it so much in such a short amount of time, it's too saturated for me, and I can't stand it.
No, I don't blame you at all. I didn't really care for it either, and it was weird because it would have been okay for a few seconds, but at one point you start to go, when the fuck is this ending? Not the movie, but that scene.
As soon as I asked that question, it ended.
Yeah, that was pretty goddamn funny, actually.
I was is he gonna shut up?
He did.
He just did. War.
What is it good for?
Fanny packs.
Fuck yeah. Funny packs.
I can't fit my brothers in fanny packs.
Fanny packs, zanny packs.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, that's another thing, because you told me when you were when you looked for this, you saw, I think you said you saw the 1988 Night Pulse or Fatal Pulse poster for that one horror movie or something.
No, it was I saw that, but I forgot my train of thought for that one. I saw the poster, but that was the extent of it, basically.
Well, fun fact, during the credits, they Damon, I think, actually sticks that exact same poster up on a billboard.
Mm-hmm.
This movie had so many fucking titles to it.
Yeah, and they had a trailer amongst as soon as he released the name of Night Pulse, it had a little trailer behind it. And the same thing with Yuppie something thriller.
Yeah, the Untitled Yuppie Fear Thriller.
Which, by the way, there was another thing too. Like, it was all about like social norms and the media and, you know, controlling things in that certain era. But at the same time, it was a lot of, like I said, more of the behaviors of society too. Like, you get this kind of stuff in most films and TV and whatnot. Like, there was one scene towards the end where Tobo was at a bar or a club, which I think still goes along with my theory. But these girls were drinking, and they kept looking at him like, oh my God, when's he going to stop, like, clenching his fist at me? And all you see is him just, like, slowly just, like, closing his hand in
Like
front
angrily.
of him. Yeah.
And that one girl, get a grip.
Yeah, get a grip.
I think he is.
And then they start obsessing about this guy literally staring at them the entire time. It's like, fuck, man. Yeah, right. Fuck, man. Like,
But then in the same breath, go ahead and they talk about like a hot celebrity and how, like, oh, he's so dreamy, blah blah blah.
Right.
But fuck, man.
mhm.
I was laughing the whole time. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Feminism, not.
No.
Fuck, man.
No. I laughed. I thought it was
Yeah.
fucking funny.
It was funny. I enjoyed it. It was just, like I said, it kind of fits with everything I was thinking about. The entire time.
Because you got to think in the 90s that was a thing, you know? Like shit like that. But the other subplot about the glass portal is that there are two detectives that are kind of on this case of, murder victim, because at one point they go to interview or they go to talk to Trent and they're like, do you know anything about dead girls being wrapped in tinfoil in your neighborhood?
And he's just like, nope, never heard of it. Even though they're coming out of your fucking house? Never seen anything.
Like, can we talk about the detective himself, like the main detective?
Who literally had an obsession with suckers. There was one sequence where he was in a cop car and he had a sucker in his mouth when he entered the car. He grabbed another fucking sucker, put it in his mouth, and every time his partner would talk about something that demoralized him, he'd just pull the sucker, put him back in his mouth. And then, not later on, he does it again. He meets up with this Japanese detective or chief of police or whatever.
Yeah.
And they discuss the whole glass brick thing. Well, during this whole sequence, he had like 4 suckers in his hand and putting them in his mouth while all this was going down. And the girl was just like, I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. Because literally the guy was just like trying to talk in English to her. And the other detective was just like,
Matsuhuru. Yes.
He would just be like, yeah, that. And he'd start talking again. And he was like, yes, this happened too. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up and eat your suckers. You have 4 of them.
That was a lot of suckers.
I know.
And we're not talking about like little dum-dums. You guys know, okay, out there, whenever they used to do, I think they may still do them, for the school fundraisers where they have the suckers that they were fucking selling for like $1. Those
Blow
big...
pop.
The big motherfuckers, the ones that looks like a toothpick with a bowling ball on top of the motherfucker.
Those blow pops, I think, or close to them.
Yeah, they're fucking huge. They're huge motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them motherfuckers. He goes from having 2, and then all of a sudden, like you said, he has fucking 3 of them.
I thought he had 4 at one point.
Who knows, man? He's a sucker for those things.
I was thinking the same thing.
You're welcome.
Yep.
But I again, I don't want to like spoil this movie too fucking much. All I'm gonna say is give it a shot. Go fucking watch it. Support the movie. It is on Amazon free for Prime members, and as per usual, we will put a link in the show notes below.
Righteous.
Righteous as fuck.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So definitely check out Fatal Pulse by Damon Packard from the guys over at Cinema Epoch. Fucking do it.
Not the other Fatal Pulse.
The Fatal Pulse 2018.
By Damon Packard.
You bastards. Do it. Right now.
And what we're going to do now is talk about the second film in this clash. Natural Born Killers.
By Oliver Stone.
What a film.
Yeah, dude. Let me just say, I first watched Natural Born Killers like fucking ages ago, and it's been one of those movies that it didn't stay like in. You know how you have movies that you will watch like literally like every couple months.
Just kind of like, I'll watch it again.
Yeah. This is one of those movies where it would be that for me, but I just haven't seen it. And dude, I probably have not watched this movie in about 10 years. Like it's been that fucking long.
To give you an idea, Fatal Pulse had the heavy concept of controversy, conspiracy, stuff like that. More of the thought process. Natural Born Killers, on the other hand, was a lot of the visual gore, the action, the physical part of it. So it's one extreme to another, for one. And two, it's more of a Hollywood-based release, so it's going to have a little bit more of a polish to it, to a degree.
Yeah.
But the concepts still kind of stay hand in hand with each other. There's a lot of visual interpretation as far as color choices, angles, subjects, sequences in general, which you had told me at one point this was the 8th most controversial movie.
Yeah, and I want to say that list was fuck, if I remember correctly, I think that list had come out in 2006. So about 12 years after it had come out. I mean, it may have changed since then, but you have to think this movie was released in 1994, and when you have the combination of a director like Oliver Stone and then the screenplay came from Quentin Tarantino,
what can go wrong?
That's a fucking recipe for controversy. Mm-hmm. Because you got to think Oliver Stone is the man that wrote Scarface, directed by Brian De Palma.
Right.
And in 1983. That movie was the biggest fucking issue with the MPAA. So you move right along for Oliver Stone directing this. And this has Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis as the main two characters.
Which, fun fact, Juliette Lewis actually sang one of the songs in Karma Field's album, New Age, Dark Age, Stick Up. Which is, now that I hear and see her act, it kind of makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, because she has a band called The Licks that she's in.
But basically, Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis are like a Bonnie and Clyde of the 1990s. They go around murdering people basically the entire movie. And it kind of tells how it happened, how it became like an origin story in such a drastic way.
Yeah, this movie's a black comedy, a crime film, and the idea behind the whole plot is this couple fucking, like you said, do all these murders and shit, but they are very irresponsibly glorified by the media.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this film kind of plays into, Fatal Pulse played into a lot of sensationalism, in certain aspects. This movie kind of plays into sensationalism, which I know several people, and I don't care if you admit it or not, you're guilty of this. Everybody at some point, not in in a positive way, but they idolize serial killers. They are fascinated by them.
I mean, even in this day and age, we have a lot of shows about how to get away with murder. Focusing on the mentality of, criminals and stuff like that. So there's an obsession somewhere. And you're right, a lot of us do have some kind of interest in it to a degree. May not be obsessive, may not be minor. You could be one or the other, but still.
Yeah. So Mickey Knox, who is Woody Harrelson's character, and then Mallory, which is Juliette Lewis. They're in a diner, and this is all in New Mexico. They're in a diner, and these hicks, for lack of a better term, which that was definitely not even a good term, but fuck it. So they go into this diner because their truck breaks down, and one of them basically sexually harasses Mallory while she's dancing at the jukebox. I mean, the dude's being a total fucking perv. Oh, does she give him what for?
And then
I mean, she beats the fuck out of this dude.
She basically fist fights this dude, and then Mickey starts to slit the guy next to him because he wanted to go help his homeboy.
Oh, he sliced his finger right the fuck off.
Yeah, which was really funny.
That bitch was laying on his toe.
Mm-hmm.
He got toe up from the flow up.
So it got to the point where it was only 2 people left. There was this real fat dude with like a cowboy outfit going, and the diner chick that was the waitress. Well, Mickey's like basically giving Mallory the decision on who to kill in order to leave one behind to tell the story. So they play eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and they do a really good like sequence with the film where they put the camera on the gun.
It's like a point of view, basically,
right,
on
and
the arm of the gun.
And they're bouncing back and forth between the two, and the girl runs to the diner kitchen area.
Fucking Mabel.
And Mickey's like, oh, hell no, honey, you ain't going nowhere. So he points the gun straight back at her, and then Mallory finally picks Mabel to get shot. Headshot right there. And then Mickey walks up to him and is just like, okay, dude, this is what you're going to tell, so-and-so did this.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. And then it breaks out to, how it happened. This is how it became Mickey, or the Eminem murder, basically.
Yeah. And the setup in which that happens is it kind of gets it literally is like a sitcom, like with a live audience, and it was like the I Love Lucy kind of thing, but it was like I Love Mallory, and she's got braces, she's obviously young, and her parents and her like little brother.
It was like a weird combination of I Love Lucy, All in the no, not All in the Family. What was the one with Archie?
Fuck.
Can't think of the name of it. Was it all? No, it wasn't All in the Family.
You're talking about Archie Bunker, right?
Archie Bunker, yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
I'm having a brain. But anyway, it was that one and Married with Children. It had that kind of like mixture of the 3, basically. So,
it is All in the Family.
Okay, I was right. I don't know why I thought it was wrong. But anyway, so she comes down from stairs. She's going to this little show or something with a friend of hers. And her dad is Rodney Dangerfield, which, he's basically the same person in every fucking film he's in.
No respect at all.
No respect.
He doesn't give respect in this motherfucker.
Oh, fuck. I was so, like, disgusted by this part. But anyway, he tells her that, no, you cannot go anywhere dressed like that. And literally telling his wife to fucking stop talking because she's like, aren't you being a little mean to her? Yeah, it's like, no, I'm going to do whatever.
Yeah.
So he tells her to go upstairs and get out of those clothes and get cleaned up, and a very molestation sort of way starts to grab her ass and massage it. And it, like I said, I'm just severely distraught by this because I hate this shit.
It's fucked up too because like the mother's just as guilty because she neglects that this is even happening.
Right.
Like she knows it's happening but doesn't fucking do anything about it.
So she goes upstairs and the wife basically tells him, like, weren't you being a little rude about it? And he's like, no, and you want to be quiet about it kind of attitude. Well,
then
and here comes Mickey.
Here's Mickey
with the 4.5 pounds or 5 pounds of meat or whatever the fuck he had in his hand.
Oh, it's a fucking
40 pounds.
Mickey's meat rolls through the door.
Yeah. So this is how the two of them meet. And no, I did not butcher that joke. So
well done, sir.
Yes,
it's very
like steak.
Yeah, it's very.
There's a lot of steak.
It's a lot at stake. It's very rare that there's a lot at stake.
Mm-hmm. So they're having their little dialogue right there at the stairwell, and they had this one part where the other 3 were talking, and I was just kind of like, "Oh fuck no." The father said something, and the kid, the son was like, wait, is Mallory my mom?
Mommy? Yeah.
And I was like,
oh
no,
shit.
Fuck no. Hell the fuck no.
Oh, hell fucking no.
So, anyway, they decide to leave while they're having this little shit fit in the back. And the dad was like, where the fuck are you going? And it's like, I'm going out, being a rebellious teen and whatnot. Well, something happened to where he got arrested for the Grand Theft Auto because they stole the car whenever they took off. Well, he got out of jail eventually and came back to get Mallory because they were supposed to be moving away. Well, Mickey showed up and had a tire iron and proceeded to, confront the dad about it. And like I said, I found it unrealistic that the fact that Mickey swung at his jaw so fucking hard that you heard the hit, and he just sat up and was like, "Are you about to get an ass beaten?"
Oh, he clocked the fuck out of him with that shit.
And he literally got no...
He got no respect.
Yeah, he got no respect from it, but he wasn't fazed by it. I was like, okay, seriously, if I got hit by a tire on the jaw, I would have gone straight to the floor.
Oh, yeah, missing teeth and everything.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So they proceed to literally beat the shit out of the dad and drown him in the aquarium.
Dude, can we talk about the mom kill? Because that was good. Like, they cut to a shot of the mom just laying in bed and Mallory just, like, cinching her up to the bed. She wakes up to getting doused in lighter fluid, and she's like, "You never did nothing." Just sets that bitch on fire.
Mm-hmm. And then proceed to walk out, and the brother comes out of the room, and she goes...
Mickey almost fucking got his ass, too.
And she was like, "Be free, brother."
Yeah, she's like, "You're free, kid."
And then the kid looks in the bedroom and just smiles. Like, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's the introduction on how they met. And from there, it's pretty much just been like gore and sex and violence and everything. Overstimulating.
Yeah. And they go to a bridge and basically, not, legally, but, in their own hearts and minds.
Their own handmade wedding.
Yeah, they do a hand slice and a mixture.
Like a blood pact, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And they marry each other. And, so they go on, more of a fucking killing spree, obviously. Bodies piling up, all this other shit. And they go camp out in a desert because what was that one line she said where we haven't seen a cop car in like 10 minutes or some bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, go ahead.
Then Mickey starts like pinpointing like, well, who do we kill next? Like, what about that person? She's just like, no. Like, she just seemed kind of out of it. And they end up like getting tailed by this one cop, I think, at one point, and they go into the desert. Car breaks down after they lose the cop, and Mickey's just pissed off at this point. So they find an Indian farm or reservation or something that had this, grandfather and a grandson. So they go in, they sit down in this little like hot box, basically. That's what I call it at this point. And the grandfather's like telling a tale about demons coming to meet him in their native tongue. Well, they're not understanding what's going on. They're just basically like sitting there like having this like almost like a freak out session because they had shrooms before they even got to that point.
Yeah.
And
we almost forgot something. I'm sorry. Before all this happened, they have racked up in 3 different states 52 murders
in 3 weeks.
In 3 fucking weeks. And all the while this is happening, Detective Jack Scagnetti is obsessed with them. After his mom had gotten shot by Charles Whitman when he was 8 years old, he's actually a very violent psychopath underneath, like being his facade of being a hero,
right?
And the audience witnesses, which is us, like we see him strangle a prostitute to death, and they're also being followed by journalist Wayne Gale. Portrayed by
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh my God, probably one of the best roles I've ever seen him in. But he has a show called American Maniacs, and it is his fault that they are elevated to cult status as mass murderers.
Mm-hmm.
And so all this happens, and then they go into the hot box in the desert because
So
they fought because he was trying to fuck another chick because it was a hostage or something.
yeah, and that was a whole other shit thing. But
Yeah.
anyway. So the guy tells a story basically about them being demons and eventually coming to see him, and something about a rattlesnake and blah, 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 blah. Well, they both pass out from the fumes, let's say, and the shrooms. And Mickey starts having like flashbacks of his past where he was abused as a child and that his mom didn't give a shit about him and the dad was just abusive as fuck.
Yep.
He wakes up in a panic, starts shooting straight at the Indian guy,
Red Cloud.
and kills him. Well, Mallory wakes up and is freaking the fuck out and says, "Why did you do that? Bad, Mickey, bad." Like, literally acting like this, like, dog is in front of her.
Yeah, and Mickey, like, legitimately did not mean for that to happen that way. Like,
He
it's
had, like, a PTSD moment.
It's the
basically.
first, and this is the first time that they feel guilt over a murder, which proves, again, they know right from wrong.
Right. So they proceed to leave after everything's said and done. Well, they have, like, very, very just, like, vertigo, just kind of dizziness feeling going. They get to the truck that has some gas in it, and they try to walk to the vehicle. Well, they end up going across, like, a bunch of fucking rattlesnakes.
Like, this is just giant field of them.
Yeah, and there's, like, a good 30 of them around them. Well, as they walk around, they end up getting bit one apiece.
Yeah, she gets bit, so Mickey tries to carry Mallory, then he winds up getting fucking bitten.
So they end up going to the drug zone.
The drug zone. Beep, 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 beep.
Which is literally like a freaking green pharmacy.
It looked like Galaga. It looked like a Galaga font or some shit.
Something like that. So Mallory's walking into the pharmacy with Mickey, and they're like stumbling over each other trying to find the snake bite, venom remedy, whatnot. And she falls to the ground. She's like almost passed out. And Mickey ends up finding the stock of shelves of nothing there for snake juice.
Yeah, because apparently motherfuckers get bit there a lot if they're fucking sold out of the snake juice on the shelf. Like, holy shit.
You considering seeing that many rattlesnakes in one scene, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Better stock them shelves.
Fuck, man.
So they proceed...
Shake, rattle, snake, and roll, motherfucker.
Pretty much. So Mickey proceeds to the counter where there's the only worker there, and he's watching all the Eminem murder, footage from, Gail and whatnot. And he looks up and sees Mickey, and he's like, "Oh shit, he's not here yet."
Yeah, he fucking straight up puts two and two together whenever he looks at the fucking the in-store camera monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
So Mickey proceeds to ask him, "Do you have any more snake juice? Because there's none on the shelves." And he's like making him hurry up. And you see it in the corner of your eye. The guy presses the alarm, the silent alarm, and he's like stumbling across the shelves trying to find like...
He's like stalling for time, basically.
Right. So Mickey picks up on what's going on, and he starts shooting at the guy. And he's like, "Mallory, get the car! I'm gonna grab the snake juice. You get the car." And Mallory's just like half dead at this point.
And then adrenaline kicks in.
And they start to take off. Well, Mallory makes it out. Mickey's like stumbling, trying to get the guy to tell him like where the snake juice is. And then there was something about him wanting to tell the tale of them being there or not.
Yeah, because he's like, "I'm the only one here. Like, you have to leave me alive. There's got to be one to tell the tale or whatever."
Well, Mickey doesn't. He just shoots him right there.
Yeah, because he was just like, "If I don't kill you, there's nothing to tell about."
Right.
Blows him away.
And then here comes Scagini, or what's his name?
Scagnetti.
Scagnetti, whatever.
Or Scanetti.
Scanetti.
Whatever.
Scanetti
Spaghetti.
Scanetti Spaghetti and his boys
You've
pulling up.
You've got a piece of Scanetti on your shirt.
Somebody touch my Scanetti.
Somebody touching my Scanet.
So
anyway,
they end up getting Mallory, and
there's a shootout.
Right. Mexican standoff, basically.
Yes.
Mickey, decides to, guns blazing and whatnot. And they got to the point where he makes it out of the door and he gets caught, but then he grabs like one of the officer's knives and like stabs one of them like repeatedly.
They underestimated the fact that Mickey had watched Surviving Edged Weapons.
Oh my god.
He is trained in knife culture.
And he said, "Fuck you, knife culture." Right
Fuck you.
back in the face.
Fuck you, knife culture.
But yeah, they get caught.
Dude, he stabbed the fuck out of that one motherfucker.
I know, and that's what I was saying. Like, he literally mutilated this dude almost. But yeah, they get caught. They get thrown in the penitentiary that I forget the name of, but anyway.
And the story will pick up like a year later at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, Okay, they get kept in solitary confinement away from each other, and they're going to take them to mental hospitals because they're declared insane.
Yep.
Scanetti goes into prison and finds my second favorite character in this fucking movie, Warden Dwight McCluskey. Fucking Tommy Lee Jones.
This dude is like creatively crazy in this film. Like, it's beautiful.
He chews every bit of fucking scenery he gets when he is on camera. Like, this is probably one of my favorite, like, roles he's been in. Like, ever.
Think of him as Two-Face, but not as insane.
Not as hokey and more fucking Texan than ever. Mm-hmm. Or, like, obviously Texan.
Because he's fucking animated to a degree to where he
that fucking perv stash and just, like, the eyebrows.
That fucking, like, curl hair that he has going on one side. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. And he tells Scanetti to kill Mickey and Mallory Knox during their transfers and claim that they tried to escape. Like, this is all a plan. Now, Gail winds up persuading Mickey to agree to a live interview that's going to air after the Super Bowl to, fucking boost ratings. Mm-hmm. So during that interview, Mickey starts talking about how murder provides enlightenment, and this is where he feeds the line "natural born killer," into the film. So, and meanwhile, while this is going on, all the inmates are seeing this live as it's happening. And they're like all fucking watching. And funny fucking story that we're going to kind of jump out and we'll come back in, just to offer, some real life events. The Wi-Fi goes out. And
on the perfect scene.
On the perfect fucking scene. Okay, so in fact, if you want to go on our Instagram or Facebook page, I'm gonna fucking post a shot of this. We're gonna post a fucking shot of this on there. We've got to. Mm-hmm. This dude just fucking sipping on a carton of milk, like a little pint of milk. He needs some milk.
Some vitamin D.
That's right.
Like, it's just literally a super close up of this guy drinking a carton of milk, concerned face. Like, it's so extreme that he needed to hydrate with milk. Like, that's how severe this is.
Anchorman, milk on a hot day.
Milk was a bad choice. And it was supplied by Tommy D. Bones.
That's right, which we'll get to later because goddamn, that was fucking hilarious.
But I thought about it. I was like, yeah, he needs some swag from us because, we had that one picture of us with the milk cartons.
Fuck yeah.
So he was like, man, he needs some of our swag.
He needs some of that vitamin D swag.
Mm-hmm.
Super media Borden.
Super Dedia.
That's right. Super Dedia bros.
Super media.
Me-D. Put the D in the D.
Mm-hmm. That's why my name has a D in it.
That's right. Mine does too, technically.
Richard.
That's right.
But you call yourself Dick.
Yeah. Dick. My dick. My vitamin Dick. Any fucking way.
So they're watching this interview going down and the whole fucking prison riots.
Dude, and when we say riot, holy shit. Now, visually throughout this whole movie, it swaps from color to black and white. And it's done very well stylistically. This being one of those moments. And in the middle of this riot, fucking Gale is wanting to get all this shit on camera because he's like, oh my god, this is never gonna fucking happen again. And the entire time Dwight is looking at him like, you're fucking insane, just pretty much just bashing him for this fucking shit.
Yep.
So meanwhile all this is happening, Scanetti winds up going into Mallory's cell and pretty much tries to seduce her. And she's feigning like reciprocation at first, and then she fucking smashes his face against the wall, breaks his nose. Fun fact about this fucking sequence, Scannetti's played by Tom Sizemore. She actually broke his fucking nose during that scene in real life. So I'm almost positive the reaction was real.
Oh shit, yeah.
When he was like, you fucking bitch, you broke my fucking nose. I'm almost positive that was an actual reaction because she fucking broke his nose in like IRL. Yeah, yeah. Oliver Stone's like, keep that shit going. Fuck you.
You see like freaking Tarantino in the background, just like,
call for cut now. Fuck you. Surviving broken nose culture. Fuck you.
Nobody knows about this.
Nobody knows about this. Nope. It's okay. Nobody's gonna knows about this scene years later. Just like Nostradamus, it was predicted.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
This is not funny.
It's snot.
So, that's my favorite word, apparently.
So?
Anyway.
Snows.
Interview goes to shit. Everybody starts finding out about the riot. They have Mickey, like, pretty much, like, surrounded. And he's telling a story about this girl going on a date with this guy and the little brother joining her on with them. So as he's telling the story, he gets to the very tail end of it and beats the shit out of this one cop, grabs a shotgun, and just blasts every single cop in the room except for one right next to him.
Yeah, that's who he threw the donut to.
Yeah. And he's like, drop it. He drops the donut. He's like, no, God damn it, the gun.
Oh my God. I fucking love that shit.
So they proceed out of the cell that they're in like an organized fashion to go get Mallory. End up finding Mallory. They try and get out.
Mexican standoff, goddammit.
Right. Which was funny because they're literally like, Mickey's over one of the cops like as a human shield, and Skignetti is like doing the same thing.
Yeah, because him and the two guards have like pepper maced her and just beat the fuck out of her at this point.
Which I don't blame him for one bit for all this shit. So Mickey sees her in the background getting up, and he's just like, yep.
Yeah,
right,
fucking I quit.
You win. And she grabs him by the hair, shivs him in the fucking throat.
And I'm talking like, he's like...
Yeah, and the fucking windpipe. Like, everything is slit.
Yeah, it's just, fuck you.
So he's gasping for air and bleeding out.
She was trained in knife culture, too.
Pretty much. And Mickey pulls the shotgun on him, clicks, had nothing in it, and he's like, oh, well, can't kill you here. She grabs the gun from him and point blank shoots him in the fucking head.
I love it. You still like me now, Jack?
Yep. All with a pepper-eyed, face and everything.
Yeah, it looked like she had like a little, like a red...
raccoon mask.
Yeah, like a red coon mask.
Red coon.
Red coon. Oh, man. So they basically just are continuing to just fucking like fire, through the entire prison as far as like people coming their way, they're shooting them. And all the fucking while, Gale's entire TV crew got fucking killed. So he fucking snaps and he's like straight up goes into Stockholm Syndrome, dude. And he starts kind of indulging in his longtime fascination for murder. And he starts shooting the guards.
Yep.
And I think he's alternating between doing that and filming at one point. And he's like claiming that he finally feels alive. And they all get rescued by this one prisoner named Owen. And so they all run into Dwight, who, obviously the warden. They run into him, and he's got an entire, like, loaded, like, shit ton of guards. And then they fucking take that one guy, and they're like, oh, I'll blow his fucking head off. It was one of the guards they were dragging with him the whole time. And Dwight, Tommy Lee Jones, just like, he's already dead, you son of a bitch. Fire! And they just fire through his ass. And I'm just like, fuck, man, that poor bastard human shield.
So Mallory grabs Gale and does the same thing and shoots the fucking shit out of his hand.
I love that. Put your hand up. Poof.
And he's just like, oh my fucking God.
Like a whole and I love that camera shot because it's the back of his hand and you can look through the hole and you see Tommy Lee Jones' face. And he's just
dropped. Yeah.
Well, he's got room for that. He's got room for the fucking blaster in his hand now.
He's the Messiah.
That's right.
Then they proceed to the shower or the little bathroom area.
Yeah.
And, Mallory's in bad shape. She's, bleeding from the side and whatnot. And they're talking about, if we do this now, we can go out guns a-blazing, don't have to suffer anymore. And Mickey's like, nah, we can do that when we have nothing else left.
Yeah, pretty much they devise a plan to threaten to kill both Gale and the other guard on live television, and they like the way they concocted this is like Mickey has 2 shotguns in an X position, each duct taped to the throats of Gale and the security guard, and they walk right out of this motherfucker, dude. I mean, like they walk out, and the whole time Dwight is just in his fucking face.
You're never gonna get far from this point.
And then at one point, Dwight, which we were gonna laugh at, fucking Dwight's bitching or some shit, and you just see him turn around and he's just got milk splattered all over his face for no fucking reason.
From homeboy losing his milk in the riot.
Tommy D. Jones.
Tommy D. Bones.
Yeah, because it's good for his Tommy Lee bones.
Mm-hmm. Does a body good.
It does a Tommy good.
Yes, it does. So they do make it out, and they close the gate behind them, and I'm telling you, a fucking like zombie horde of fucking inmates just flood towards the rest of the...
It looked like an episode of The Walking Dead at this point. I'm not even joking.
It did, and they mowed down like a good 20 or 25 of them, and they had no ammo.
I love it. He starts to climb the fucking main door gate or whatever, and he's in his little suit and shit. He just breaks his pepper mace out and just starts hosing him down. Then it looks like he falls into you go to a metal show and they have like a mosh pit and somebody jives off the stage. That's what it looked like. Tommy Lee Jones was like, fucking metal, yeah, fucking like falling into
jailbreak.
There's gonna be a jailbreak. AC/DC, fuck yeah.
Yep.
So he kind of pretty much just disappears. They cut to Mickey and Mallory and everybody escaping. And then it was funny because when they cut back to the scene, you were like, oh, well, okay. Because they have his fucking... They tear his head off and they've got his head on a fucking spear or a stick or something. And they're just... the prisoner's just parading his fucking head around.
Like, all within a good 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. 30 seconds to guards. Speaking of, when Mickey and Mallory walk out the fucking front door, you had pointed out, you were like, you see the guards, like some of the, just regular detailed guards just standing in the front. You're like, what the fuck were they doing there? And I'm just like... not getting paid enough for this bullshit.
Because there were a good 4 or 5 of them just standing there watching 2 convicts, Gale and the guard, being tied up and just walking out like, oh, hi, bye.
We don't get paid enough for this shit. They probably have like whistles and flashlights, and they don't have like actual guns and shit.
Or they're probably about to retire.
We are top flight security, Craig.
I don't lose my 401k. Not for this shit.
Fuck yeah. So they steal a van and they escape to a forest, and at this point it's just Gale and Mickey and Mallory, because you find out that Mallory got pissed off with the other guard and just fucking shot him and dumped his body off in a ditch somewhere on the way,
and then proceeds to get interviewed by Gale once more about what are they gonna do now.
And yeah, it eventually comes to a head where like he genuinely believes he is a comrade of theirs now, and he wants to wrap up and go on, whatever they're doing with him. Mm-hmm. And to his dismay, they're just like, no, motherfucker, you have to die too.
And then he pulls out the whole like, well, you said love cured your passion for murder, and he's like,
yeah, love killed the demon.
Love killed the demon, and Mickey's just like, but you're gonna be the last one because this is how it's supposed to be. Gale's like, but wait. I'm supposed to be alive because who's going to tell your tale? And they look at the camera and they're like, well, the camera's still here.
Yeah. Like,
and Gale's just like, fuck.
And he tries several times to change their fucking minds. And then after that, he just kind of accepts his fate. And it's so weird, like the way that you said he became the Messiah, which is really funny because when he goes up and says, fuck it, just shoot me or whatever, he puts his fucking arms out in a cross position.
Yep.
I was like, that. Right fucking there.
Robert Downey Jesus.
That's right. Fuck yeah, Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. With his arc reactor pulse rays in his hands.
His Stark reactor.
Yep.
That's right.
He's Stark mad.
Tony Starr of David.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. I fucking love that man.
So now do you know the movie itself?
Oh, they blow him the fuck away by
yeah, I mean, you gather that at this point. So, like we talked about, the cinematography was just so all over the place because you have black and white scenes with like a touch of color at some points. You have some scenes where it's like a shade of like red, and it was like a split second scene of like a rattlesnake hidden out of nowhere. There's like the whole, I don't know what they call that cinematography, where they have like the car like keeping still, but they have like the motion in the background.
Oh, it's not really so much of a cinematography. It's just they have the car there, and it's literally like the car probably on like a belt system or like a screen in front of it. It's all it is like a car in front of a green screen.
Right.
And it's obviously done in a but it's fucking cool though.
Yeah, and then I think there was a real cool sequence with animation where they had the blood packed with their hands, and the blood dropped into the river, and it was just like that old school like Beavis and Butthead almost style like animation where it was just like their blood drops turned into like these snake demons basically and started like, chasing.
I fucking love the animation portions of this movie. And they were very brief, but fuck, they were cool. Mm-hmm. It looked like the Max.
That's what I was thinking too, like MTV days.
Like Liquid Television stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, oh fuck. Okay, you brought this to my attention about Tommy Lee Jones having a quote for every fucking movie. Like there was a quote, or you said he always has like this one memorable line from
that makes the whole movie. Yeah.
Look, guys, during the riot, his right hand dude comes up, Warden. Yes, what is it? He's like, Napolitani. He's like, I don't care what your fucking name is. Napolitani's all, Mickey and Mallory Knox are loose. Scannetti's dead, and they're live on national TV. Live on national TV! Jesus, Harold Christ on a fucking rubber crutch. Is this happening to me? Jesus, Harold Christ on a fucking rubber crutch. I fucking died.
But there was another one before that when he was talking to Scanetti about something.
Oh. God damn it.
It was the very beginning. When they've met, I can't remember either because it was so brief, and I was just laughing for like a good couple seconds afterwards.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, I don't know. Oh! He said he called somebody a shit fuck.
Mm-hmm. Like, there was more detail than just shit fuck, but... Yeah.
I know, dude. I'm trying to fucking remember it because it was pretty goddamn funny.
But back to what I was saying, like there was just the same similarity with Fatal Pulse, with just drastic differences in cinematography levels. Like most of the home sequences or the building sequences where they had the window, they had the hotel sequence where it was just the window was just drastically different scenes of like clouds rolling over. There was like a background of some animals running by or something like that. It was just like nothing stayed consistent with that. In the hot box with the Indian, there was the background of like the night sky, and then they had like a coyote howl in the background just randomly pop up in the doorway. It was so drastic. Like I said, the color scheme with the drugstore was just all green. Like all the lighting was green compared to the rest of the movie, which was like just random shots of like, oh, black and white, this and that. No, this was like you literally walk into like nothing but green light.
And it was really neat because this movie had like a lot of different cinematic styles to it. Natural Born Killers, I mean. It looked, some of the cinematography looked like it was a spaghetti western kind of style. There was obviously the animation sequences.
The scene in the prison with Dwight and Scanetti, they were walking through the halls in the prison, and it kind of had that weird angle, like it was like a...
it was like a Dutch angle.
Yeah, and it almost felt like a Compton film, like a
oh my god, Compton. Yes.
Like it was just like this like rap video like happening all of a sudden, and it had like sequences where they were slowing down and they were still talking like normal speed, but they were slowing down and they were really like close up to the face, so it felt like a rap video almost.
I found it.
Say it.
Mickey and Mallory Knox were without a doubt the most twisted, depraved pair of shit fucks it has ever been my displeasure to lay my goddamn eyes on. I tell you, these two motherfuckers are a walking reminder of just how fucked up this system really is.
Bravo, Tommy.
Depraved pair of shit fucks. I can't even do it justice because his delivery was just fucking... And every time... It was just fucking... Every time he's fucking talking, he's just spitting. I'm talking like the spit is flying out of his fucking mouth.
Like as soon as the riot started, like he got so pissed. Like they had like a good light behind him, and he was just spewing saliva everywhere. It was so fucking great.
I can't just like, mist of spit coming out. It's just so fucking funny.
When he shot, he missed.
That's right. Oh my god. Well, that's yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
Dude, that. Oh my god, I just thought about something. Do you think that Tobo was using flex tape whenever he was taping old girl together with the fucking tinfoil? And did Mickey use flex tape to tape up Mallory's gunshot wound?
That is a good question. Maybe they thought about it before Phil Swift did.
That's right. So, a few things about the film Natural Born Killers. Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails watched this movie over 50 times to get in the mood to mix the soundtrack.
Hey, when you need the influence, you gotta do it a certain way. Makes it right for you.
Quentin Tarantino had once claimed to hate the final version of this movie. Until he met Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash told him that he and June were fans of his and really liked Natural Born Killers. And Tarantino also said that the producers allowed him to publish his original screenplay. Like, it helped him get over his hate. He was afraid that people would credit him with the material he had no hand in creating and would not have created at all. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, another thing, apparently Rodney Dangerfield did not understand the film during shooting.
There was no point.
He didn't understand what Stallone was trying to do by shooting such a dark subject as a father molesting his daughter in the style of a 1950s sitcom. And as such, he found it very difficult to perform his part.
I mean, he did a decent job. Like I said, Dangerfield is just the same person in every film, so I can't really expect him to be anything but that. So,
yeah. But yeah, dude. Yeah. It's fucking great. I love this movie.
I love both these films.
I fucking do too. And normally, you know, on here, we generally like, hey, you know, this is one we like better. This is another one we like. I fucking love both of these.
They have their own unique charm, and there's really no, like, this one's better than the other. Like, they're both good in their own right. So
do it. Mm-hmm. This movie is available to buy, rent on Amazon Prime. We'll stick a link in the show notes below. So go do that. Just right now.
Yep.
Just fucking go do it.
Just stop the podcast and go watch it.
And just go watch it. Yeah. So that's Fatal Pulse and Natural Born Killers.
It's a very fatal podcast.
Yeah. But next week we are going to come back with another For Your Reviewing Pleasure entry.
I'm waiting.
Why are you waiting? Let these motherfuckers know what we're going to do. Muzzy's the Cascade EP.
Oh, that. I'm thinking of like the Cult Cinema thing for some reason.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
You're okay. It's late, you guys. It's like fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and I got to be up in 7 hours. So I need sleep.
Jesus, Harold fucking Christ on a rubber crutch, Cody.
Shit fuck.
Shit fuck.
But yes, we will be reviewing another EP from the Monster Cat catalog by Muzzy himself called The Cascade. And boy, does he have some interesting people to make these musics thingies with.
Mm-hmm. We're fucking stoked as shit to talk about this next week.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I am going to do my usual, mouth vomit.
Banter.
Because social media is a thing. If you're out there listening to us on, iTunes or SoundCloud or, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play Music, Player FM, wherever you're listening to us, we're thanking you from the bottom of our hearts for enjoying this podcast and letting us entertain you every week.
Yay.
Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you enjoy this, share it with your friends. We think there's a little something for everybody on here.
Yes.
So, if you want to follow us on social media,
here it comes.
Facebook.com/SuperMediaBros.
Pachow.
Ka-chow. Twitter.com/supermedia_bros.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Instagram.com/supermediabros podcast.
Yeah.
Come look at our stupid pictures.
Ouch. You pistol whip my ears.
Wouch.
Wouch. Ka-chouch.
Dude, why the fuck wouldn't he not go, ka-wow?
What's it? Oh, I can't think of his name.
Ka-chow. Owen Wilson.
No.
Oh.
The guy does the ShamWow commercial.
Oh, son of a
Vince.
bitch. Vince Offer.
Vince Offer with ka-chow.
ShamWow.
ShamWow. ShamChow. He literally has like freaking Lightning McQueen colored chamois and just ka-chows.
Oh my god, ka-chowls.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. We're going to do that shit.
Yep, we're going to make a ton of money because Cars is still relevant to a degree.
You know?
Cars 3 kind of came out.
You can use Rusty's with the ka-chowls.
Well, eating your can of beans in the theater, you can wipe yourself off.
The fuck? Wait,
That's a meme, by the way.
I'm delirious as shit right now.
That's a meme. I'm telling you.
No,
People eating can of beans in the theater watching Cars 3. I don't know why, but it's a thing.
The internet is a strange fucking place.
Yeah.
And we are happy to be a part of the internet in our small little corner.
We love living in this day and age of freaking social media and stupid concepts.
Oh my god, there's so many memes. Dr. Evil and many memes.
This is a meme. That is cream.
This is America 2. Go fucking Google that. Or
By
YouTube
Flying
it.
Kitty.
Yes. Speaking of Flying Kitty, we should probably fly the fuck up out of here.
Definitely.
Like, get the fuck
Your
out.
couch is calling my name.
Yeah, oh my god. It's call out my name.
Call my name.
I need you to sleep on me.
Forever.
Forever. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. We're so sorry.
No, we're not.
No, we're fucking not sorry.
Not even close.
This has been Cult Cinema Showdown 4, Fear Thrillers and Born Killers. Until next time, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
Bob and Okami.
Shades on!
We're off.